Episode 192, Loving Forward with Tami Schwendiman.
Welcome to Latter-day Life Coaches, the podcast where each episode is a conversation between me, Heather Rackham, and one of my amazing coach colleagues. Each coach here is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and a highly trained, experienced life coach making a great impact in the lives of their clients. And together, we have one main goal, helping you live your best life no matter what. You ready for this conversation with a coach? Here we go.
In this episode, we dive into the powerful effects of self-confidence, compassion, and love on personal growth. Coach Tami Schwendiman shares her Loving Forward practice, where writing daily love letters fosters deeper connections and sparks creativity. By focusing on love and compassion, we align ourselves in co-creating with our Heavenly Parents. This episode shows you how harnessing love can be a transformative force in your life. If you struggle with self-confidence and compassion and want to have more love and do this with love, please reach out to Tami and have her help you get started. Enjoy this episode.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast today. I am joined by Coach Tami Schwendiman. Hello, Tami.
Hi, Heather.
I'm so glad
Thanks
to
for
be with
having
you.
me.
Thanks for being here. I have I can't tell if it's cold or allergies, so I apologize if I sound nasal. It's not always fun to listen to somebody with a nasal voice, but that's what I'm struggling with today. But Tami's voice, on the other hand, sounds amazing. So hopefully you can just listen to most of her. Anyway, Tami, before we get started, I would love for you to just introduce yourself a little bit. I know you've been on the podcast with me before, but I think people need to hear about you again. So can you just introduce yourself for us real quick?
Sure. Thanks so much. I am a confidence and self-compassion coach, and I'll explain more about that. But my name is Tami Schwendiman. You usually cannot say my name unless you've known a Schwendiman. I'm from Utah. I have 3 adult children and a wonderful husband, and I have 5 amazing grandchildren. I love being a grandma.
So fun.
I've been interested in coaching since really 2011. I took a Byron Katie course for a week, and in 2020 I decided to get certified, and since then I've done several advanced training certifications, and I love it. I work with women, and I especially love one-on-one coaching. That's my jam.
Yeah.
So
I love, and I know you'll talk a little bit more about it, but you said, confidence and compassion. Was that the 2 C's that you said?
I did.
If we can have those 2 things, so many other things would just correct themselves. So
100%.
I love that is where you focus your time.
Yeah, I think that sometimes I think it throws people off because they're like, you're a confidence coach and a self-compassion, but to me, they marry really well together.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you can even separate them, but
Yeah.
But if you don't understand what they truly are and how to have that for yourself, then I think that people would probably feel like they were even contradictory or can't really go together or something. But yeah.
Yeah. It's taken me a few years to verbalize my message, and it's still a work in progress, but
Yeah.
I love it. So I'm excited to share more of it with you today.
Oh, I'm so glad. All right. So Tami, love is something that we all want and we all need in our lives. I mean, if you look at compassion, if you look at confidence, like the root of those things is love. You have to have love in order to have either one of those. But you've come up with a concept that you call loving forward, which I love. That's very repetitive to say that I love the phrase loving forward, but can you explain a little bit more of what that is?
Yeah, let me give you the Cliff Note version of how it came about, and basically how it started. And for those who can see, I will show you. It started with this. It's a little postcard, and I named it Love Forward. And it started the first time that I did it was in 2020, and it was with a church group that was trying to reach out to our neighborhood. So we did this whole thing where we were trying to put more love out in our neighborhood to everybody. And for me, that just really, I grew up in a mixed faith home. And so that's very natural for me. Anyway, 2020, we did this for a neighborhood, and it was successful. People, like, we sent them self-addressed stamped postcards, gave them other things to do, and but the postcard, people loved it, and so they would love forward by sending a little love note in the mail.
So you
And
guys sent them a postcard, and then they were supposed to take that postcard and send it to somebody else?
yes, like all they had to do was write the person's name and
Okay.
address and the message on it.
Love it.
And so that's how it started. And then in the beginning of this year, I had thyroid cancer 10 years ago, and I had a reoccurrence that I've been dealing with for the last year. And so I was in that in January, and I was driving in my car all alone. I was listening to this book about Christ and just how to bring Christ into our life more. And I was really thinking deeply about how could I do that more in my life, and thinking about the times in my life where I was connected to myself and really felt connected on a bigger scale. And I remembered this experience that we had done and what a positive thing it had been. And it was like 2 weeks before Valentine's when I remembered this. And I decided on that car ride, I'm doing it again. So I rallied all my amazing people around me. We again did it for the neighborhood, bigger and better, I thought, and I loved it. And since January, have been writing love notes to people that I care about, that I want to connect with. And so it just started this whole momentum within myself of loving forward. And, it's a really small thing, and it's simple, but it's part of my morning routine now, and I love it.
So do you just have a stack of those cards that you just kind of keep there and you just
I just printed 200 more.
Oh, I
So
love it. That is a fantastic idea. I went through a small phase. I say phase because I'll start doing things and then, I peter out.
Yeah.
Like I had a stack of thank you cards, and I would write a thank you card once a day as part of my routine. And I loved that time when I did that. And this is reminding me a little bit of that, but I know that feeling that you get from just reaching and connecting and loving somebody.
It is a simple act, but for me, it's become a grounding habit and just part of who I want to be and what I want to be putting out into the world.
Yeah.
And I think the more that I'm doing that, the more I'm able to show up in all my relationships.
Yeah. So how do you transfer that? Like in life in general, can you give us some examples of what loving forward would look like just in general?
Sure. I mean, I'm not a perfect person, but I think in general that starting my day with this, like opening myself up to love and loving forward, my lens is shifted, and I'm looking for more opportunities, the little things, the little opportunities. They're there, the smile, like I feel them more. I feel them deeper because my awareness has been deepened for them. In my coaching practice, I would say it's given me an ability to slow myself down as I tap into this energy of loving forward. I have more love to give. I mean, it's just,
Yeah, you find
the law of reciprocity, right?
Yeah.
It just continues. And been able to help my clients to slow down more, I feel like. And as they slow down, they're able to look for opportunities and come up with their creative solutions. I mean, I think the beautiful thing is life can be so simple in the shifts that we're making. We like to overcomplicate it and think that it's this big change, but it is the small shifts that we make continually that have the biggest impact.
So is this something that you have implemented then with your clients? Like you have them participate?
I don't have them doing it. No, I don't have them doing it. There have been a few that I've shared it with. I do feel like it is impacting them. I have a program. I think that eventually I might have it be part of my program, but it's not right now.
Yeah. So awesome. I think of a time, I have 4 kids. We talked about that a little bit before we started recording.
Yeah.
And my second child is my only son. And he has a sister right below him. And when I was going into the hospital to have our fourth child, it was going to be another girl. And
Mhm.
my sister said to my son, Zach, she's like, "Are you so excited for your new little sister?" And he looked at her with all sincerity and was like, "I only love Paige, who was the sister right below him." Like he couldn't fathom being able to have any more love in his heart for somebody else, like to bring this other sibling into the house and be able to love them. And I think that's what these loving forward notes are making me think about. Like we think that we just have this limited capacity of love, and there's always a bigger well of love inside of us that we're able to find.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I can so relate to your story. I remember having my second child and thinking, how does a mother love their second child?
Yes.
But you do. And
Yeah.
the third child the same. And the fourth, I haven't had four, but you do
Yeah.
expand.
Yeah.
One thing that I've noticed is having this state of mind or this shift in my mindset as I write the card and set the intention for the day. It's just opened up my ability to access my creativity. Like it's really, really been amazing to see how it continually like ripples forward, and I'm able to be a little more vulnerable in my life, and seeing my like my self-compassion, my lens for myself has expanded.
Mm.
It's one of those things as you focus on it grows, and it's a good thing to grow.
Love is the root of everything we do. I mean,
All right.
it's the root of what Heavenly Father wants us to have in our lives, right? Like I think the gospel is love. That's it. And the more we can bring in, you can't help but see that other things would grow, and our capacity to be creative and all those things would continue to grow along with it because they are all encompassed in love.
Yeah.
So good. All right. The pairing of love and creation is a beautiful thing, right? Like we just talked about, like the gospel is love. Our heavenly parents love us. They've created everything we know for us. I think it really gives us the opportunity, and it really links us, I think, with our heavenly parents. If we think about love and creation, we're co-creators. We get to co-create with them. I love thinking about being co-creators and knowing that the things that I'm doing in my life, like I'm partnering with them to create, right? It's so
I
fascinating to
love
think
that
about.
too.
Yeah.
I love that.
How do you like to think about this concept of loving forward with our heavenly parents as co-creators in the process with us?
Well, I 100% agree with you that our heavenly parents, like this is what they desire most for us as their children, is for us to have love, loving experiences, to have love guiding our lives, to have love be part of all of our decisions. I think that in our faith we believe, that we will become like our heavenly parents, and I think that they are all knowing and all loving. The love forward, how does this connect me to my heavenly parents? It just does in every sense of the word, in that
Mhm.
it's embodying what I think that they want most for us. And I think that I don't even understand what that means at this moment. I'm at I'm like this little embryo phase of love. I think the love that they have for us is so big that we can't understand it. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. I I think that is so true. I think one of my, that scripture in the Pearl of Great Price, our heavenly parents' work in their glory is to bring to pass the immortality and eternal life of man. And ultimately, like their work in their glory is to help us become like them, right?
Right.
And they are love. So their work in their glory is to help us love and to
Love.
feel love and to
Yeah.
have more love in our lives. And once you start to really, I think, experience creating more love in your life, because I think a lot of times we think we just have to sit back and it's going to, like, love just comes to us, but we get to
Right.
create that. And when we figure out how to create that, which is exactly what
Right.
you're doing and with these postcards,
Right.
like we want to feel that forever. And so then that's where I feel like these covenants come in that we make, and all the things, like once we figure out how to do it, like, why would we not want to create that and have that for the rest of our lives, for eternity, with all the people?
Yeah. I thought of something that's a little off topic, but I'm going to go there.
Oh, do. I love off topic because there's always
Well,
good
I
things to
told you
come.
I just got back from my trip, Taylor Swift. I was so lucky to be invited to go on a trip with my daughter. I wasn't a Swiftie before, so before going on this trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all the thing right now. You're hearing and seeing things about it. So I tried to get on the bandwagon and be a team player. And so I had my friendship bracelets, and we're traveling abroad, and I loved it. I loved the friendship bracelets because I want to wear them all the time now, Heather.
Are you wearing them right now?
No, I'm not. I almost put one on today. I didn't. I almost did, because it's such, like, why do we need an excuse to give a person a piece of us for no reason? It's just, it's something that we've created that we're giving away. I love that. It opened my heart in seeing people that maybe would not get a bracelet, but you could see that they weren't even maybe a Swiftie, but I gave them a bracelet. And there's one little girl I'm thinking of in particular, and the dad was very touched. The girl was profoundly disabled. I have a history of working with profoundly disabled, so they have a soft spot. I noticed her probably more than most people would, so I just went and gave her one, and she knew what it was. I knew her dad was pretty clueless what it was, but I connected with her in her eyes, and I knew she knew.
Yeah.
And that, just those moments, it's like, I am a huge Taylor Swift fan, mostly because I love what she's putting out into the world as far as love and inclusivity. And I think that she is raising the vibration of love in the world. And I think that is what our heavenly parents want us to be doing as humans. And if we can all do it, wouldn't that be amazing?
Mm-hmm. So good. So true. Okay. So
I'm sorry.
No, please don't be sorry, because I'm about to go to a Taylor Swift conversation too, which is so funny because I'm not a Swiftie either. But
I am a Swiftie now, Heather. I wasn't, but I converted to a Swiftie. I am.
Okay. Well, I did not intend for this. We did not intend for this
No,
podcast
we did not
to go this direction
intend.
today. But my girls and I just went and watched in the theaters, when she had it in the theaters. And I didn't know most of the songs, but I really sat there in awe, watching her perform. And my experience, I had this thought come over me of, like, I was so proud of her. It was so interesting. Like, I had this pride come up in me, and it was not pride in her, but it was pride in humanity in general. Like, look what she, a fellow human, is doing and is able to do. And we all have we've all been given that same gift and are doing that in our own lives in a different realm, but in a different way. And I had this overwhelming feeling of pride for all humans, everybody sitting around me. It was so interesting to experience that while watching. I could have experienced that watching anybody, right? Not necessarily Taylor Swift, but it was a really interesting experience. And I think I left there feeling like I wanted to remember that, like, how proud I am of us, of all of us who are just here doing our thing in our little corner of the world. And it's just as great as what she's doing.
Right.
But it's just
she
in
didn't
our
mean to
realm.
Create, like, all of this is just evolved from things that she's doing. And that is, I guess, the message. Like, I think we all have capacities that are beyond what we realize. And as we tap into those, they will have ripple effects, and they do make change happen.
Yeah. We're amazing. Humans are amazing. And our heavenly parents know this about us. And I think, like, their work and their glory is to continually try to prove to us that we are capable of being like them, that we are capable of their greatness. And I just think that's so inspiring. And love is the foundational piece of that.
Love is the foundation piece of that. And loving forward, it's where it's at.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. All right. I know you've shared a few things here and there about, ways that it's changed your life by loving forward. Is there anything else that you feel like you want to share on that?
No, I love that you brought up the common humanity and just the peace, because that is such an important piece.
Yeah. So
You know,
true.
the three parts of self-compassion are self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. And I think that often the common humanity piece, versus isolation, that we are all part of a greater whole. I think that we can overlook that one as an important part of love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's come to my mind.
That's really true. I think we live in such an isolated society. People oftentimes are like, why practice religion in a community setting? Like I can worship here, or have my own worship. There is something to a community. There's something about learning to connect ourselves with other people that is so important, because like, who would you love if it was just you, right? I mean, I guess there's other people, but we're not given the opportunity to experience so many things if we're not doing it in a community. And just
Right.
remembering that there's we're part of something bigger than us.
Yeah. And we're all so different. So I think for me, that's
Yeah.
one of the important reasons to keep going to church, keep being part of a bigger whole, because that's where you rub up against the differences, and your love gets to expand as
Yeah.
you say, they see it different. They are
Yeah.
different. That's okay.
Well, and it's really easy. Life would be easy if we were surrounded by people that thought the same as us all the time, but
Yeah.
also, where's the progression in that? And
Right.
there's so much growth, and there's so much happiness in growing, in the progression. And so I don't
Yeah,
know.
it can be painful, and that's where the
Yeah,
joy is found.
yeah, so true. Tami, this is such a great concept, and something so simple, but something that brings out, can bring such profound effects. And I'm so happy that you shared this with us today.
Thanks, Heather. Appreciate
So
you having me
fun.
on.
Yeah, before we go though, I need you to tell people where they can find more of you.
Yeah, they can find me on Instagram at Tami Schwendiman Coaching, on Facebook at Tami Schwendiman Coaching, and at my website, TamiSchwendimanCoaching.com.
I love it. Well, we'll link to all of that in the show notes. We'll make it super easy for
Thank
everybody.
you.
Yeah, I would just say everybody should just go get themselves a stack of notes and just keep them right there. Like, how fun would that be if there was just always something random popping, going out into the world, random thoughts of love, always heading out that way.
Yep, keep loving forward.
It's awesome. Thank you so much, Tami. Thanks for
You're
being here
welcome.
with us, everybody. And we hope you join us again next time. Have a great one. Hey, we just wanted to thank you for spending part of your day here with us at Latter-day Life Coaches and being part of this conversation. Share this with your friends so that you can have a conversation with them on this topic as well. And as always, subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Have a good one, my friends.